Welcome to episode number 6 of the Eavesdrop podcast. What's up, man? Why are you over there frozen?
No, you said gave me very specific instructions.
Tell them what the instructions are so they can understand.
I'm going to clap twice, and then you just shut the fuck up for 10 seconds. And he knows how tough that is for me to do.
Yeah.
So he needs to give me those instructions multiple times. And you clap 3 times.
Yeah.
And
Did I say 2?
Yeah. And I really wanted to make a joke, but then that's why I had to literally sit there and just think, don't make a joke about.
Because you said 2 instead of 3.
You know me, corny.
I do. Anyway, episode number 6. We've had an illustrious set of guests so far, and now we're topping it off with the Jack.
It's an honor to be alongside some of these people. Congratulations, by the way. I mean, we've talked about it a lot, but this has been awesome.
Fist me, brother.
We got you. I listened to every single one in its entirety. I haven't been able to listen to the full Seth one yet. I got halfway through.
Yeah.
And saw certain clips that you've shared. Just because it's been so crazy with stuff going on. But I mean, they've been so awesome to listen to. Hearing all about Ryan and his kind of come on up. You get Vaughn in the war room at Treyarch.
How crazy was that?
That was dope, dude. That was really dope. The whole Nate shot one I watched, I listened. That was actually the first time I've ever listened to a podcast, because most times I only will see them on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I actually got on the Apple Podcasts app and listened to it through there.
Did you leave a like? Because anytime I visit any of your social media outlets, which is Jack CouRage JD. Wait, what is it? It's
just CouRage JD on all major social medias, including Discord. We have 5,000 active members.
5,000. I remember when you used to say 1,600.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good.
You know what? One of the main reasons that I want to have you on is because very, very seldom do I get the opportunity to have a front row seat at someone skyrocketing into this sort of stardom. And with you, and it was crazy. And I want to talk about Vegas a little bit, because there it was very clear. And I don't know if you pay attention to this or not, but since I'm a student of the game and a teacher of the game, I self-learned myself. I'm kidding. All right, that's Trailer Park Boys reference. Anyway, I don't know if you noticed, but there were times where, Nature would get for a picture, and then, I would go for a picture on that, and then somebody wouldn't ask you for that. But then there'd be other times where just 2 people would go up to you and just want to take a picture with you. No Nate shot, no Seth. Now imagine a world, okay, that we're living in right now. And this is the Fortnite world, sort of, where Jack, Nate shot, Seth, and me are standing somewhere, and somebody comes up to just want to take a picture with Jack, right? Now, Nate Shot obviously has been a superstar for years. Seth, same thing. Me, since I was born. But you know what I'm saying? Think about that. I was mind blown and excited at the same time about it.
No, it was super cool to see, because even down to the people who would go up to you guys and be like, "Oh man, I've been a fan of you guys since the first house days," and talk about all the old Optic stuff. But then there were some people who would go up to Nate Shot, for example, and say, I'm a big 100 Thieves fan,
League of Legends,
and I'm from League of Legends, and that was dope to see too, how it's just all you got people going up to Seth, for just his videos, just his Call of Duty videos, it's so crazy how just being there that weekend, seeing all the different people from different I got more tweets being didn't want to come up and bother you guys or anything like that, and for me, it's never a bother. Even with what we were doing, half the time we were gambling, and we turn around and be like, "Yo, what's up, man?" I'd be like, "Hey, please come on up." Trust me, it's surreal to me.
Do you have any time are there any moments where you ask people to? Because I have 2.
Okay, wait. I want to hear yours first.
Well, don't come up to me when I'm eating. Wait until I'm done. Don't interrupt my munching, because I'm gonna bite your hand. I've even gone as far as to do that sound to the waitresses, and 2 at my house, or any at a house.
Oh,
if I'm out in public,
yes.
If I'm downstairs at the coffee shop, then by all means say hello. If I'm down the street, don't crash. If you want to say hi, honk the horn. We'll do a selfie real quick, but don't crash. But aside from that, everything is fair game.
Oh, that's a given. Nothing personal, house, living situation, anything like that.
What about when you're eating?
Sure, I guess I could throw that in, but for the most part, I'm not nearly as
hungry as me. The other thing is like if it's an emergency and it's like your dad's getting mad and you gotta go, then yeah, interrupt my meal. But that's happened a couple times. Anyway, Jack, now that we have this little rapport going, I want to ask you who you are today. Tell me who you are today.
Well, right now, I'm Jack at CouRage Dunlop. CouRage is extremely important in my life because that is literally all that I work on right now for the most part. That's who I am. That's how I've always known myself in gaming, and it's grown from just a fan of all this stuff to now being a top 75 followed streamer on Twitch.
How nuts is that? And how long? Crazy. How long did it take?
That Fortnite wave kicked in, and from March I had 100,000 followers, and now in October I have 900,000. I just broke
900,000.
Yeah,
give me something.
Boom.
900,000. And what about on YouTube? On YouTube, I see you climbing. Bro.
Yeah, it's slowed down a bit the last couple of weeks. I think we have to kind of figure out how we want to approach the channel a little bit, but we're about to hit 600,000 subs.
That's still nuts, bro. If you think about it.
Oh, dude,
I've been at 800 for the past 2 years.
No, it's been crazy. Like even down to just the stuff we've been figuring out and how we want to grow things. Like my last my big project within my brand that I really wanted to grow was my Discord. Oh, sorry, not my Discord. Well, Discord has always been a thing, and my mods have really helped with that. But my Instagram, we talk about it all the time. Instagram is like one of the weirdest social medias to grow, and it's really hit stride as of late, which has been crazy.
I want to ask you about the tips, because we talk about something like that, and people love to learn opportunities and as to how they can grow their stuff. But before we get there, I want to know who you were. Yeah. When you started this, your journey. I want to talk about Fat Jack, and I'm not fat shaming him because I'm fat, so friendly fire. Yeah. Tell me what? How old were you? Where are you from? The whole nine, bro.
Whole nine. All right, I'll throw it back then. When I first started following esports, because I've always been a fan of gaming. My first ever console I got for Christmas from my grandma was the Nintendo 64, and it was Mario Kart.
Sorry?
Mario Kart, and I'll get roasted for saying like
Mario?
Mario Kart. Yeah, because I'm from North Jersey, so deal with it. But I still so vividly remember playing it with my dad, and that was really the only game my dad was able to grasp in a certain sense. Like even to date, like he's now from watching so much Call of Duty and so much Fortnite, he gets it. But with physically playing, like he wasn't good, but he also got the hang of it. And from there, that really founded my love for gaming, went up the whole ramps of like PS2, then the Xbox 360. And the Xbox 360 was what changed everything. I think the day my life truly changed for gaming was September 25th, 2007, when Halo 3 released.
How old were you?
I was 13, 14, yeah.
You were what? You were 13 in 2007?
Yeah, I was born in 1994.
I was 14 in 1994, 27 in 2007.
Couldn't be me. It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't
13.
You. How old's your dad?
He's 57. My parents had me when they were on the older side. And he was born in 61. So,
61? Okay.
Yep.
My dad was born in 58.
Yeah, so
your dad waited.
Yeah, no,
smart man.
My parents.
I'm not saying that my dad's not a smart man. I'm just saying he's a smart man.
No, there's I think there's a lot of pros and cons to either side of it, but yeah. So then I kind of fell into love with it. I started to watch some esports events for like Halo, for example, and Halo 2. Like at the end of Halo 2, and that's what got me so excited for Halo 3. I remember I was at school and my cousin already got Halo 3 and was playing at home, and he was like a 14 in ranked, like in the ranked playlists and like Team Slayer, and I was like, oh, we were 14, like, because coming from the Halo 2 ranks, to already be at a 14 in day one was like, damn, like if you were a god at Halo 2, you were like a 32. It wasn't like Halo 3 where like I had 550s in the game. So fell in love with it there. Went to my first MLG event in Halo 3, which was MLG Meadowlands 2009. Went as a complete fan. Got pictures.
Meadowlands,
yeah, because I was in North Jersey.
Yeah.
And they haven't used that venue in years because they outgrew it. They've never gone back. And it was so surreal getting to meet everybody, see everyone. I mean, I was a diehard fan of these guys. I say it all the time. I literally paid Microsoft points to have pro players add me to their friends list because I was that much of a fan. Yeah, and I'm not embarrassed by it.
No, I wouldn't be either. Yeah, no, if I don't think I'd be embarrassed about that either. I mean, I buy shit that I want to have, and if I want to have somebody on my friends list, then I would do that.
Yeah.
If I wanted to meet, if I could pay to meet, one of the late greats, then I would. If I could pay to meet Michael Jordan and have a 10-minute conversation, I'm gonna fucking pay that money. You know what I'm saying? So completely understand. Did you ever join them, or was that a rule to not join people when? So really quickly, if you guys don't understand what we're talking about, back in the day, there used to be what they are today, same thing, Microsoft points. And with those Microsoft points, you could buy, profile, you could buy, games, like arcade games and stuff. Yeah. So a very, very common practice was for, fans to pay 1,600 Microsoft points to be added to somebody's friends list. What this would do, it would allow you to either join their game a lot easier when they held an open an open hangout, or it would allow you to show off to your friends, because you can see view friends and like, oh shit, this guy's friends with this guy. Yeah.
And there's only 100 people on friends list back then. It's not like the new consoles where you have 2,000.
It was like the top 8 in MySpace, but 100.
It was like prestigious.
I went so far as to have a second account. Okay.
Oh my God.
And it was Hex's second account or something along those lines. And what you would do, and I'm not saying that I was charging people for this, but I was telling them, like, yo, I have too many friends. So why don't, some of my fans, top 100, add that account, and then you can, by proxy, add me or join me this way. So you'd be friends with the Optic montage account. That was the name of it before montages were a thing. You would join that one, and then you would look at that friends list, and then you would join me, and then you would join my game or whatever.
Dude, and I remember looking at some of the Halo friends list and being like, whoa, T squared, neighbor. You get Slaw, which was Walshy's gamer tag, was Walshy backwards. And like, oh my God, there's Roy and Lunchbox. I would like freak out, like seeing all of them. And Halo was where I truly embraced what it meant to be an MLG fan in the MLG Pro circuit. And then I went again to another MLG event. My second one was MLG Providence 2011. Yeah. And by that point, Halo was starting to take second stage to Starcraft.
Starcraft 2, yeah. Was it
Starcraft 2?
Yeah, okay.
And at that point,
I wasn't that familiar.
And I was already grinding Starcraft at that point. Like I had played it for like 6 to 8 months. And all the Halo players were tweeting out and would tweet out and go, anyone play Starcraft and want to teach me? Because it is a completely different beast to Halo, obviously. And I would be arguably their only fan who played it. Because obviously Twitter followers and interaction was not what it was back then. Right. And so I'd be like, sure, like, I'd love to teach you. We'd get in a Skype call, because that's what everyone used back then. And people like Enable, Flamesword, Ace, Cleet LaRusso, Assault, Puckett. I mean, literally, you name the Halo player, and I almost can guarantee I have a connection with them from that time. And the number one tip with it was just, you have to be normal when you meet people. Like, when you meet people. Yeah. Those guys didn't want a fan to be joining and freaking out and know, screenshotting and stuff. We got in a game together, and I acted like completely normal. Hey, nice to meet you, man. Let's get some games in. I helped teach them. Next thing you know, we start playing more and more.
How would you teach them though? Like, what would be the first step?
I mean, when I said,
don't give me the whole tutorial.
But like, when I say they really didn't know much about anything, it was like little timing pushes we can do to get into the game more. What they could do to optimize their build instead of just randomly building stuff. It's like, have a plan to go into it with. Yeah. What certain numbers in the game, like timings in the game, should you try to hit and watch out for?
So obviously you were freaking out, but you didn't show it. How were you like? You were like,
oh, dude, I mean, I would join the call and be like, yo, what's up? And it would be like Ace, for example. And he'd be like, hey, man, how you doing? And I'd be like, good, dude, good. And mute my mic and be like, oh! I'd start freaking out, dude. And I still feel that way when I play with people today, but I've done it now for so many years. Yeah. Like, it's still... I just know, now it's like, oh my God, I'm playing with them. Yeah. But then immediately like, let's get into the action.
Yeah. Walshy is one of the people that's at one day in a couple episodes down the line, he's definitely going to be on the podcast, because let me put it to you like this. I remember vividly. Okay. I was at my first townhouse that I ever bought, Jude and I bought. I was sitting in the kitchen. I was taking care of Liv. Jude was working at the time. I was taking care of Liv. She was... Actually, you know what? It was before Liv. And I was watching TV, and then I saw like a Halo-esque documentary with Walshy and how he has his own house off of gaming and has his own clothing line, Cañero?
Whatever
it was. Yeah. And then he got a tattoo of it on his forearm. And I remember like the sort of stardom that, and I would see pictures of him in like this very cool the reason that my office is the way that it is right now is because I have a very, very vivid memory of Walshy's setup where he's like in this very cool loft area. He's sitting in front of like there's only a coffee. Everything's blank. There's only a coffee.
That Red Bull photo shoot.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking
about.
about. The reason that I have these sort of like my setup is like this is because I have this very vivid, memory of how cool that made me feel.
One of the photos is like him looking up at the screen, like like on the seat or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I totally get you.
And I'm like, man, that's so cool. And then years later we got to know each other and all that. But it's wild to me how little moments in life sort of get stuck with you so much that it, in the back of your head and in the processor that's always working. It's always working. There's this just very vivid memory that says you got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. And years later, we're talking about close to 13 years later, I'm creating, a space that I love, that's a sort of a mimic of a picture that I saw by Red Bull, which is like to me nuts. And I tend to imagine anything that I do in my office is always like one day there's gonna be some old ass dude that's gonna have the opportunity to build something, and I want him to be inspired a certain way. So everything from the beginning of time, I always focus on cool first. 100%. Storylines and all that, but it's wild.
It's like the Fantasy Factory, Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, and like what that was and why I think so many people gravitated towards it. On like MTV's for that show, for example, it was just like, it was cool. It was an awesome hangout space. You could do whatever. It's like it was like, use your imagination, and I think that's where it like saw a lot of success. But at MLG Providence, when I went to watch Starcraft because that was when Starcraft 2 was really in its peak. And I was fully into the whole Starcraft thing. I mean, I was so excited. It was Halo Reach at the time, so it was dying down. I went with my friends. My dad actually drove us up and stayed the weekend. And I remember vividly seeing him just wander around the venue, like just getting the free Stride Gum shirts and random little games.
Who was Walshy?
My dad.
Oh, your dad. Yeah.
And then that was Black Ops at the time. The only jersey I vividly remember in my head was Proofy. He was on the featured stage. And I was like, oh, I've heard that name before. And that was at the event when there was no one in the crowd.
Right.
2, they didn't play caster audio to the crowd in fear that the players on stage would hear it.
Of course.
So when you sat in the crowd, it was just dead silent.
Yep.
And then League of Legends was so small that they were just packed in the corner.
Yeah.
And I got to speak with Freak and Rivington from Riot
Yep.
For literally an hour because there were so few people interacting there that like it was just like I could just go up and talk to them for an hour, and we just talked about random League of Legends stuff. He told me his favorite character was Corki. I told him that I was playing Ramus jungle, and it was hysterical. And like I couldn't believe how funny it was rolling around and then that was super throwback. And because I just started playing League, and I got to meet Tasteless, and I followed since I was involved on Reddit. I got to go on the Reddit tour from Sundance. I went early on the Thursday.
I was there for that.
Friday.
Wait, where was this?
Providence still.
Providence. Okay, no, I didn't know Providence.
And he brought us backstage, and obviously still just a fan. I'd never spoken to Sundance at that point. I got to see Husky Starcraft and everything. And that for me was like, whoa. But at that time, I'd known a lot of the Halo guys, so I got to get pictures with them, knew who they were. Got a picture with Huck, Starcraft, who I loved. And then Puckett that was one of his first events behind the scenes doing like producer stuff. He wound up figuring out that he hated it. We'd come back to the camera soon, but I didn't get to see him all weekend until after the show. Saw him for like 2 seconds, got to give him a big hug because we had become friends through playing StarCraft. And a few years passed, and the next thing you know, we kept in touch. We still played games. I wished him like a happy birthday or something.
Yeah.
And then he was like, thanks, dude. Also, aren't you based in the New York area? I was like, yeah. He's like, you're going to school for video and film stuff, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, do you want to come in and be like a video intern at MLG? And I was like, yeah.
Of course.
And that was it. And that was the first opportunity in esports, unpaid. Lost money every month I went there because I had to travel in and out of the city, 3 hours of traveling every day. But when I say I would have paid $10,000 for those summer months to attend the MLG free, like unpaid internship, there's no doubt I would. And it was the best experience I could have gotten.
A lot of people don't often see the opportunity and see it as spending money instead of an investment in yourself on that. And I think obviously you doing that and sacrificing that. A lot of people, especially nowadays, and I see this a lot like I understand everybody needs to make a living somehow, some way, right? Everybody needs to be able to pay their way somehow. But people need to understand that in this space, it's so young that you have to pay your dues, and sometimes those dues you have to pay for free. You're not gonna get as lucky as some of the people that are growing. Imagine me, right, going to work every single day at the time of mortgages, and I was working from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then going home, taking a shower, putting on my PJs, and then boom, playing some Call of Duty 2, and then making a video on Call of Duty 4 or that. I made videos on YouTube for 2 years with no money. There's no way to monetize any of this. So for example, like a couple of months ago, I put up a graphics design contest. To show me your thumbnails and I'll pick one.
Yep.
And I'm gonna pay you $500 a month to do whatever, to do my thumbnails. And a lot of people were like, a lot of graphic designers that already were in the scene, they were like, well, you shouldn't be doing this, you should get paid for the work that you do because you're devaluing the blah 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 blah. And he's like, and I was thinking, I'm like, why? What's with that attitude? It shouldn't be a problem. That ain't no problem.
Not a problem.
That ain't no problem. Anyway, so I ended up picking this one dude, paid him $500 a month to do. He was supposed to do a thumbnail a day, and he would have if I had the videos for it. But I hired him for. He worked for me for like 2 months, and maybe made like 6 thumbnails for me.
Yeah,
I got $1,000 for 6 thumbnails. That's a very good job.
I'll do your thumbnails for that.
Now imagine if this dude would have said, "Hey man, you have this something that you're not doing on YouTube that maybe you should try is this," and he gives me a suggestion, and then I try that suggestion, and then it works, and then I'm like, okay, well, I appreciate that. Why don't we continue to work together? And then, that's how he would have been the first one that I would have brought into my space if he was like, yo man, I do camera work too. We're already working together. Let me go record you for a couple of events and let's see what happens.
Yeah,
I would have been like, yeah, it's a good idea. Let's go do it. He didn't, obviously because of whatever, but a lot of people get these opportunities and they just don't take advantage of the full opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about it last podcast with Pomage. He got an invite. He'd been watching, this guy play video games and make videos, and he got the invite and he got to play with him immediately. He's like, all right, this is my time to shine. I got to do everything right. Point in case, as I wrap all that up in a nice tight little bow, you are the exemplary note of that specific opportunity knocks. I open the door, I walk in that room, and I own that fucking room. Because when your opportunity came to, do whatever it is that you do, go to school, and then interning to whatever for MLG, and then on top of all that, all your hours spent on everything that you've done the entire day, you say, you know what, I'm gonna sacrifice 3 hours of sleep right now, and I'm gonna stream some Call of Duty. You started with Black Ops 3. You started to gain an audience. And I don't remember which pro got mad at the fact that what did he say? Oh my God, I don't remember who it was, but somebody got mad. It was a pro that got mad and said, Activision is turning the casters into bigger personalities than the players.
I mean, I think Hecz was part of it.
You think Hecz? I think it may have been. I don't know. But the fact that some, so do I. The fact that somebody said that instead of like, damn, why aren't I streaming? You know what I'm saying? Like pushing the everybody's success on somebody else's. I mean, when in reality is the person succeeding is the person's doing the success. Very, 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 very seldom.
I streamed almost 600 hours of Black Ops 3, and I wasn't full time.
And you weren't.
Let's say maybe 525. That was during that year because I probably played a little bit after, but I wasn't full time. It was after whatever I did for ESL, and that's what it took for me to reach 1,000 subscribers and get a base, and it planted one of the most real things from. And Inception's my favorite movie.
Inception,
yeah, and like it's crazy to think, but like the idea of Inception in the movie, it's not that everyone always jokes like, oh, a dream within a dream, Inception. Like no, that's not what Inception is. Inception is planting an idea in someone's mind, and when it manifests, and it's like, oh, the whole point of that movie is plant the idea of I shouldn't become my dad's thing.
Yeah.
I should become my own man sort of thing. Like, let me sell the company or whatever. And when I did that streaming and I got that much of an audience and I wasn't full time, that's what planted the seed of like, I need to try to go full time at some point with this when the time comes. And that always was in the back of my head, festering, waiting from 2016 up until when I finally was able to make the leap this year.
Yeah.
I knew that if I grew older and was like 45, 50, and I looked back and never went full time or it took the leap, I would live with regret forever because I was like, man, why was I so scared to do that? And every decision I've ever made, I've always known it was the right decision. and I'm not necessarily. I was never necessarily nervous. I was more anxious to get started.
Yeah.
Because like I did the internship at MLG. I did it the next year as well, which was paid. Middle of that year, like 2 months after I finished my summer internship, my first one, I got a phone call from Puckett, and he was like, "Hey, do you know how to cast? Have you ever casted COD?" And I was like, "Nope." He's like, "Do you want to?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "We have our Columbus event in 10 days, MLG AW Open, which wound up being one of the biggest open events ever for MLG in regards to viewership. That was the Optic phase final, Hecz with Apathy, Slasher.
With a cut up hand too.
Yeah,
right?
cut up hand. That was when all the internet from the venue got shut down, and like remember Twitter like blew up. Like that was when Matt tweeted out like if active and got like 20,000 likes in 10 minutes.
Something was happening like that, right?
Because they got hit offline by like all the whatever. That was back with like the Blizzard squad, stuff like that.
Yeah, holy shit! I remember that because I did that as well, and everybody was getting all this action.
I remember I had like 2,000 followers on Twitter from that weekend, and I was like if active, 157 likes. What? And that was crazy for me. So for that event, Puckett was like, also, I'm going to give you a tip. Know your worth. Like, know your value. We're going to pay you $500 for that weekend. Like, don't do it for free. Like, I'm going to offer you $500. Never do an event for free from here on out.
Yeah.
Because for that weekend, for example, I went in and the casters were Puckett, Benson, Matt, or Mr. X, Maven, Duffman, and then me. Yeah. And at that point, by doing that, I was already the top six in casting for COD. And it was immediately like, you at least have an event rate. And to this day, I've never done an event for free because of what Puckett taught me. And that was the first time I flew by myself. Or that might not have been the first time I flew by myself. But either way, it was an insane experience.
Is that the first time we met, you and me?
Yep.
What was that?
It was in the bar in the hotel in Columbus. I didn't drink.
Why did they call you the senator or something like that? Congressman?
Because everyone else would like wear like jeans with their pants and like just normal shoes, which I do now. Like I stopped doing what I did, but back then I wore a full suit with dress shoes, a white shirt and a red tie, like I was a.
And you had the flag,
and I had the American flag. Yeah. So I really looked like a politician, and that was the first. And basically, what wound up happening was I was still in school. I was a junior. And they were like, okay, great. You're down? Good. We'll get your travel set up. This weekend's a 2K. We want to have you cast remotely with us. So I will never forget this moment for the rest of my life. I hop into the cast. I'm dressed up. I'm in my apartment room in Towson, Maryland for school. Mr. X and Puckett are in the studio in New York. And I'm over Skype. They've got me on the webcam. And we're watching an AW S&D. And like match and
Advanced Warfare,
and they get kicked out of the lobby midway through in like a really important round,
and it's just you.
And I only have my feed. So first off, I'm casting off of. I don't have their feed.
Yeah,
I'm casting off of what I'm driving.
Yeah.
So I've never driven. When driving was when you're controlling the CODcaster and Call of Duty. Right. Then they see completely different things. So I'm casting off of what I see versus what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So then they drop. And I get left by myself, and I basically have to do what they called, literally they said there'll be like a radio cast. Like, they can't see anything. But the broadcast is on their end, so the broadcast can't see anything. So I've got to be the one to deliver what's happening in the game because the show must go on. And I literally just go like, I just radio cast this whole thing with my full energy like I normally do. And like it ended, and just like Matt did like his, like his laugh, and Puckett was like, "You're hired!" Like literally yelled, "You're hired!" And I was like, what? Like, what just happened? And like that moment, I was like, let's go.
You
like,
should upload that to YouTube.
I don't even.
It's on
somewhere. MLG.tv.
Yeah, it's somewhere. It's archived. So someone can dig it up. I guarantee you, because that's like you have like these moments captured in time. That's the beauty about the internet that in social media, that nowadays you have all these special moments captured in time. Man, like I remember the first time that I talked to Hutch. You know, I remember all these vivid, moments because of the internet, and it makes it that much better. All right, so the door opens for you.
Yep.
You're in a position to say, you know what, I can cast full time right now. I have a really good paying job. I just came from ESL. I can ask for pretty much whatever I want to be here, and they're gonna give it to me. You have
that was when I was coming back from ESL. I was already full time, obviously, with casting, because like
I meant streaming full time. But go on.
Yeah, like the last part of my casting story was like the leaps I took to jump Like I left school mid-senior year because Maven and Mr. X.
Have you finished school?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I finished in the first year after. I only needed 17 credits when I left. One of the big things was that I needed to, my last class for my major, I had to be in person to take. So I went and I appealed it to the dean of the college and the president, gave them the whole spiel on what I was doing. And then they came back to me and said, this is all great. It's in your field.
Yeah.
We'll give you credits for going to work. We'll also give you 6 extra internship credits for going to work as well. So 9 of my 17 were covered instantly. I just needed to show proof of what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I made a little highlight video of my casting from ESL when I had done it, and some more. But I left school mid-senior year, and arguably the most fun last semester when you're just supposed to have a blast with my fraternity brothers. I was drinking, having a good time, I left and I moved across the country to California. We drove it, and like I think driving it makes it that much more real because like every day you're just getting further from home. And I went out there with basically a minimum wage job and just said, let's do it. And I knew once I got there, because living is expensive out there, obviously, I knew that I needed to do something to get me not only A, more financially stable,
supplemental income,
but B, I needed to guarantee that I would be a top caster in Call of Duty where I knew I would be at every event. Because at that point, still Puckett and Benson.
Yep.
There was Maven and Mr. X,
yep.
Revan, and then myself, which I was still 6th. But what also was going on was like there was some politics behind the scenes stuff. There was also some events that were smaller where they only needed like 4 casters for one stream because there wasn't as much Bravo stuff. And I was like, I need to guarantee that if I wasn't at an event and a thing went out, like here's the talent and Jack wasn't on it, that people would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I started streaming. And next thing you know, that helped my stock rise, I think.
Of course.
And then by the time that it was time to go back to MLG, it was Maven and I as the top 2 for COD. Because Mr. X was obviously going to Overwatch League and stuff like that. And again, yeah, you mentioned, going back to MLG, they obviously treated me great. Did the whole Infinite Warfare season. Really set up to have a successful Call of Duty World War II season. And then that's when everything really changed, was January. Well, I had originally gotten an offer from Optic too.
Yep.
And we just weren't seeing eye to eye with exactly what I needed to do it and make myself feel comfortable. Because if I was going to go full time, I knew I didn't have the following yet and the audience to make me, I needed to be able to live the same life that I was living. Yeah. And not have to worry about certain things financially before I went full time. God forbid it crashed, right? And it did terribly. Then I needed to make sure that even if I made $0 off streaming, I could still live a life and enjoy it. And so I waited, and then January hit, and I remember it was like the second week of the Call of Duty World War II Pro League, and the Call of Duty World War II season was just stupidly long. Yeah, I'll say that pretty bluntly. It was way too long of playoff matches. It reminded me of like a baseball of regular season matches. It reminded me of a baseball season where you kind of get to it and you just go, 162 games, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care, Like there were so many roster rules, so there wasn't really roster manias. It was like, Jesus, man, it just went on forever. And I remember the second week, and I sat in my apartment, I was literally like, I'm about to do this for the next 6 months. And I'm already sick of Ardennes Forest CTF. And I'm going to have to see that 150,000 more times. Yeah. And then like literally the next day I got a phone call from I think it was Reed or Jay. Mm-hmm. And they were like, let's make this happen. And they were like, we will make sure you have what you need. Yeah. Let's just make this happen. Yeah. And the second I got that.
Now, to be clear, we had already approached you, Hitch and I had already approached you and Maven.
Oh, yes. I mean, you guys.
We were kind of, No,
so you Davis especially, because Davis has a certain way with things. But you and Davis were obviously were the ones who planted the idea. Yeah. And followed through with it and everything. And it was they were the ones that's delivering the offer to me. Yeah. And so when that happened, I was like, it was the same feeling I got when I moved to California. It was the same feeling I got when I took the role of fraternity president at Towson. Same feeling I got when I moved back to New York from ESL, was like, this is the next step. Yeah. And I just knew it instantly. And I brought it up with Maven, and Maven looked at me and he was like, obviously my best friend. We literally did everything together, and we still like. I genuinely love him more than almost anyone. And he literally was like, "You are an idiot if you do not leave.
Yeah.
And that was me leaving him, my co-cast, my best friend, the guy I lived with, the guy I worked out with, everything. And he was like, "You are an idiot if you don't leave." And when I heard that, I was like, "It's done."
How good of a friend is that, though? Because it would have been really easy for him to even plant the smallest little doubt. And as your friend, you would have taken that weight in gold,
100%.
brother, right? And friendships like that don't come along, because because Maven's a super stand-up guy. I love the dude, right? Yep. Obviously, but the ability for a human to say, "I'm gonna suffer from this," emotionally because I'm losing my friend, physically because I'm not gonna be as easy to get along. Well, I'm not gonna have as good a time at work because I don't have this. So it's gonna the day's gonna seem longer in a sense.
Yeah.
So for him to be like, "You're an idiot," that's super, super cool. Anyway, sorry, Twin Star. I just wanted to give him a shout out.
He's like, not only did
don't fucking cry, Jack.
Do that. No, I'm not. Right. Not only did he do that, but he helped me. He was the one that convinced me to move to Cali.
Mm-hmm.
So and do that full time. So, so that was nuts. So, moving once that happened, it was like, all right, let's do it. And thankfully, MLG, everyone from MLG was super supportive, which also really helped. I did cry a lot when I left there.
Yeah,
because I obviously loved it. I loved everyone at MLG. My dream was to work at MLG from when I was when I was a fan at the first MLG Meadows event to when I was an unpaid intern. It was surreal to when I was one of the faces of Call of Duty. And to then be leaving that, I was like, there was no timeline in my head when I was 14-year-old Jack who was on Halo 3 that would leave MLG ever.
Right.
But it became a thing, and it was the best thing I ever did. That's crazy to think about.
That to me, go ahead, take some water, man. You deserve it.
No,
Jesus.
Thanks. Wow.
Look, I know this story, but when you tell it in a setting like this one, we're in an office building that houses close to 10,000 offices.
Yep.
I'm making that shit up. I don't know.
You totally made that up.
But it's an empty room. We have some production company here, but we have the soccer Hall of Fame opening up across the street. So if you hear any noise and music, just pretend like you don't hear. Let's continue with the podcast. Yeah. But when you hear it from my perspective, the way that I'm hearing it right now, man, like it really transcends and it hits me a little bit because I connect with that, man. Not only because you're my friend, but because I've seen you grow and just literally skyrocket, man. And it goes back to the thing where I say, like, I can open doors all day long for people, and I'm not saying that I did this for you. I'm just saying in general. But it's up to the individual to walk through the door and then own the room, right? Like I could have put. I mean, think about the amount of players that no longer play for Optic that had the same opportunity that the Natechuts and the Scumpies and the big timers and the Mikes had, right? Like they just didn't take that opportunity. And Hitch and I have this saying all the time because when he first came on and when I told him, and I remember I have it recorded, I have my phone out, Seth's there, and I'm like, "You're gonna join Optic, okay? But this isn't, you haven't made it yet." Mm-hmm. When you make Optic is when you work the hardest. You haven't made shit. This isn't like, "Oh, I made Optic, hands behind the back, I'm gonna relax, it's time to chill." It's hard work time. And a lot of people throughout the years have suffered from that mentality of that. So, the door opens, you start streaming every single day. A game called Fortnite drops. Yep. You play it. There's no builds at the time. It's just a fun game. And still to this day, in a Gary Vee sort of show that we did together, he asked me, he's like, first thing you think about when you think of Fortnite? And I say, best multiplayer in the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? I meant it.
No, it is.
Up until that point. You know, and even now, like I still mean it. I think it's up there. It's the game itself, and every single time we do a podcast together, we talk about Fortnite. So let's just go on with that.
I think this one's less of a general Optic podcast and more of, like, if we don't talk about Fortnite, then that's literally the game that changed now has changed my life again.
Yeah.
Like there's been some pillar games in my life that I've been like, whoa, those have changed everything for me. Like Halo 3 is one of them, Starcraft 2 is one of them, Modern Warfare 2 is one of them, because that's when my friends and I would LAN once a month at least at my house in New Jersey. They would bring 8 setups over and we'd play GBs. Like our team would play 5v5 GBs there. Our other friends would be playing other stuff. And we'd do 2 nights in a row at my parents, like at my house, like Friday night, Saturday night. And then everyone would go home and then we'd be in school on Monday.
Yeah.
And like League of Legends is another big one. Fortnite is right there. And I mean, my first upload on Fortnite was October 13th of last year on my YouTube channel. And obviously I think of like, oh man, what if I never stopped? Because I stopped playing Fortnite to play Call of Duty World War II. And that was my job.
Yeah.
But man, like to have what has happened, and the people that I've been able to meet now too, it's just like, it's crazy how like I can't, like, it doesn't even seem real, sort of thing. With what's happened. Yeah,
because I think you were, I don't know when it was that you really started to take off, right?
It was, I mean, I could tell you the moments. It was, right around Ninja Vegas was when I casted it for the first time, and that opened like a whole new door there. But like Ninja's when like like Tyler literally changed my life. Like Ninja changed my life through hosting in my channels.
Yeah.
Like simple as that. Like I'm not gonna shy away from that. Like
Yeah.
that was a huge.
Yeah.
If I had to give credits to the moments where I've seen jumps.
Yeah.
And like why I've like helped skyrocket. Like Ninja is obviously one of the huge parts.
Yeah.
Another big part is my first random duo games with Connor. Like getting to meet Connor and that's a big thing. I get so many messages from...
Just a quick snippet on Connor. Who is Connor? So
Connor,
everyone know who Ninja is.
Yeah. Connor was... I play random duos on my channel, and I matched a kid with a squeaky little voice. He's 10-year-old named Connor, who we called him Jeffrey at the time. For the kids, for example, I don't ask their name.
Yeah.
I call him Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Little
Jeffy.
Yeah, I call it like little Jeffy, little Timmy's, I call him. They obviously know, I wind up streaming, like after we play our first game, I'll be like, hey, 10,000 people just watch that, they freak out, sort of thing. And I know, hey, God forbid they ever go to say something that they shouldn't say, maybe on a broadcast. It's already muted, and no, like none of that's ever happened. And we've done thousands of games now. But with Connor, it was just like, the kid was so adorable and innocent, and you could just tell like he had never won, and we'd win our first game, and like I deliberately let him get the last kill. I get the guy to like 10 health.
Yeah.
I'm spraying like right to his right. I'm like, go get him, dude, get him. And he's like, oh, we did it. And like that moment, like I still get chills thinking about it, because like that was me when I was younger, like wishing I got to play with like my heroes and get games in with them, and going for my 50 in MLG. And over time, Connor was able to then play with Wildcat and Marcel and all these other YouTuber people. And it got to a point where I've had conversations with Dad. His dad, we sent him that huge care package, like so much stuff in that. And I spoke with his dad, and his dad was like, "Yeah, I want to make him like his own stuff, because obviously Connor was playing and everything, and we're more than happy to support it."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Connor was just banned from Twitch because they have a rule where you have to be 13 to stream.
Yeah. How old is Connor?
11.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if it's it was made. The account was made by his dad. Like, it's a consent-based thing. Like it's not Connor Rogue making something. Yeah. So I'm hoping that we can try to appeal that and get something, because like the only reason he even has an account, and I've been very blunt. I've had real conversations with Connor on stream, but my most real ones when I've spoken to him and then his dad have been off stream via email or through when we hop on a call, and I say, here's what you need to never say, never do. You don't accept any of this stuff like that. And his YouTube channel though is like 160 something thousand subscribers now.
Is he uploading daily?
No.
What a lazy little kid. You know what it is? Is these kids. Oh, he's not even a millennial. He's like a Z or something, right? Anyway, so I'm totally joking. Go on.
No. So it's so cool to see, like, how he's just built out his own thing. I just saw he played games with Wildcat, Chap, and Marcel yesterday, Tyler, like all of them. So,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I love that story. Okay, because I obviously know Connor. I don't know him, but I know the story of Connor. Yep. And how it impacted everything. But it materialized, and it made me feel something when I saw your. Was that a rat? No, right? I'm kidding. When I saw your montage, and you were surrounded, and he came with a hero play and save, bro. Like, I'm choking up a little bit. That was
so sick, dude. When Logan sent me that, because
who came up with the concept of the montage, and then we'll get back to it, because we're not done with your ascension.
So for my montage, I knew what I wanted. From the Halo days. If you've ever, again, sorry to keep mentioning Halo, but that was my roots. Halo montages are some of the best montages in history, to be blunt. Like there's obviously the Call of Duty sniper montages, and the Call of Duty based montages, and then there was the Halo montages, and like the old Halo montages, the Walshy montage, you know, the Halo God, the SK Halo God montage. If you go and watch that, man, it still is crazy to see like him shooting the thing out of the ceiling and the huge thing coming down and slamming out. Dude, it was just, I still think of it wild, sticking the Banshees from halfway across the map. But that was like my inspiration. The straight ripping montage is what I thought of. Like I remember being younger and seeing Snipe down in the Halo 2 montage, or sorry, in the straight ripping montage, because he had just gotten into straight ripping. He was that new guy in the scene. He was the equivalent of like Hook, right? Or young Seth back then, when it was like, this guy is the future. And there's the moment it comes on, one of his main clip parts comes on, and the song starts playing, and it was like the whole, you know how the music changes, and it like reset the energy of the montage. And the line of the song was like, I remember a year ago, I was standing in the crowd waiting for my, and he's like sniping the best Halo players in the world. Yeah. And literally a year ago, Snipe Down was nobody, but now he's on straight ripping in the biggest Halo 3 montage of all time. And like that moment then still sticks to me. And like, I was like, no, that's the feeling I want to give people in this. Yeah. So if you know anything from my stream, I love those epic build-up songs. I have film scores saved on Spotify that I can just go and click when I need an epic moment to set the stage when I'm about to do something crazy, when I give a speech to. So I was like, I want like an epic song like that. And then I love Drake. And you know what? Like I don't care if we didn't make a single dime off the montage. Obviously lost money off it. But I knew I just wanted something that people watched it, they felt an emotion. They thought it was that was dope. And it was arguably up there as one of the best Fortnite montages. Yep. And I wanted an epic cinematic intro. That's what I told him. We picked the songs, and then he just went to work. I sent him all the clips. My mods helped.
So he came up, was like, "You're gonna be surrounded, and you're gonna get."
So like he would send me screenshots, and I'd be like, he was like, "What outfit do you use most?" And I was like, "Oh, I use the Alpine. I use the skier girl, American with the red shield." And he like sent me some screenshots and didn't have the red shield on it. He's like, "Bro, you gotta trust me." Like, what do you mean? He's like, "You just gotta trust me. It'll be there." Yeah. And I'm like, "All right." And that's when he then sent me this. He also sent me the screenshot of Connor with the sniper, which is etched Connor in it. And I was like, I didn't know how it worked, like what it would be. And he had a 3D artist go and make the shield, because obviously when she reveals the shield on the ground, that they like have my crown jewel. Yeah. That's not in the game. You can't put the shield on the ground. Of course not, no. So he 3D rendered it. And man, like that whole epic hype moment, the song's like Moon and Sun. It's like an Avengers remix. Yeah. And which I loved even more, because it's just like, it's just epic and big, and it makes you feel crazy. And when I get surrounded and like I look, and then next thing you know, it's like that payoff of Connor, man, everyone, that was number one moment. And I'm more than happy. Like, trust me when I say, like, the joy I feel when the thing people talk about most is Connor saving the day, not my clips. Yeah. That's what I care about. Yeah. You know, I love that feeling. Yeah. People have loved that idea because it's so. The thing is, it's like there's so many new young gamers in Fortnite, right? Like the crazy thing about the followings that we have is, like, yes, Ninja has 10 million, whatever, or 12 million Twitch followers. But I promise you, there is a legion, a true legion of his fans that literally their parents don't let them have a Twitch account.
But they're there.
But they're there, and they're watching, you know? And when I go to events, and I'm going to a Fortnite event, and I'm standing there, and next thing you know, like, I see a kid, and his dad's like, go ahead, say what you want to say. And the kid's like, can I have a picture with you, please? And I'm like, I just said the F word 10 times on my last stream. Like, that's the feeling I feel. You gotta fucking stop. Yeah, I do. Well, I do. I'm good on Fortnite. When I get to COD, I'm still COD Jack. Yeah, COD Jack still pisses me off. Yeah. But no, Fortnite, I'm almost 95% no curses. Yeah. COD, I'm 50-50 still. Sorry, but I'll fix that better. I'll get that better. But yeah,
that's so cool. Anyway, so that was the second peak. You know, the thing, the Connor. Yep. And then what kept on?
I think what's just helped is just consistency. I have not missed an upload since going full time. My biggest break from streaming was like when I go to an event. Yep. Like, for example, TwitchCon. I know this. Like, for example, we talked about it before streaming, but I knew this would be a down month in regards to numbers and growth and stuff like that, because we went to Vegas. I had to take a couple days because I wasn't feeling well. We're doing TwitchCon. I'm gonna go visit my friends in college. Like, I have been on an unreal grind, and this is part of the balance. But I knew this would be a month where numbers would be lower because I'm not live 200 hours.
How much does that affect you? Obviously, because it's you know, gaming and what we do, and when Pomaj said that it was the hardest job in the world, he didn't mean it like in a general sense. He meant it the hardest job he's ever done personally. And I understand. Like, for example, I worked my first job when I was like 8 years old was helping my uncle bring groceries from El Paso, Texas, America, to Mexico, and we didn't have a car, so we walked. I climbed the bridge, did the bridge, came down, and then we still had like miles, and I'm carrying big duffel bags of pots, pans, and a whole bunch of other shit. That was my first job. Second job was also with my uncle. I was mowing like the factory that he worked at's grass.
Yep,
and then after that, I worked with my grandfather. I was like 10 years old. I was working with my grandfather cutting down boxes to go sell the carton somewhere else. This is all in Mexico. And so fast forward a whole bunch of years. Corporate America, from banking to mortgages to insurance. Those sort of corporate jobs are tough, sure, but nothing is tougher than being left to your own devices, and whatever you put in, hopefully you're gonna get out, because you can quit. And anytime somebody says like, "Yo, is me quitting my job and doing this full time what I need to do to succeed?" The answer is always no. The answer is go to work, keep your job, and then only until you start making a good enough, match to what your living situation is, can you even consider going part-time. 100%. And then can you consider that? Luckily for me, I made the jump when I needed to make the jump, and there was never any failure in my head. There was never, I remember clearly situations in where I'll be in my townhouse in the loft area where I'll be playing video games. And at the time it was like Call of Duty 4, because I was making videos for free. And I remember like family members would come, and I would be upstairs, and I wouldn't go downstairs to say hello. I wouldn't go down there to say hi, because I was focused on something. Yeah. And there was no failure in my, I knew that this was going to happen. And it's fucked up that I thought that way, because I put a lot on the line on just a feeling that I knew that I was, that was going to succeed, or that there was no end, there was no end in sight, but I knew that that I would be in a really good position if I just focused, gave it my all, and did all the right moves at all the right times. Yep, man.
It's true.
It's
the same feeling I've got with my sort of things. It's like when you go to build something, especially of your own, and this, it's like, if there's one thing I know I can rely on in my career, in my life, is that I will work as hard as it takes.
Yep. That
will never not be a thing.
Yeah.
And that could be, maybe I'm going to be 60 and look back and be like, why didn't I take more time?
Yeah.
For certain things.
Yeah. But this is living, though. This is living.
I'm not, it's not like I'm working. I'm not working for someone else.
Yeah.
2, I'm building I'm in what I love.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing this is my ultimate dream.
Yeah.
I go live and get to play video games with my best friends.
Yeah.
And have fun. I played COD with David Vonderhaar, Legion, and Post Malone yesterday.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
And the best part of that was, as you saw, like from my tweets and on my Twitch, that was a paid stream.
Yeah.
Like I was paid for those games. That was the most fun thing ever.
Yeah.
Like that. That's another thing. If you told younger me, that would just never be. But the only reason I got there is from literally never making sure that no matter what scenario I got and whoever I worked with, they know like they can rely on me.
Yeah, and again, going back to the toughest job I personally, and it is the toughest job I personally ever had, and maybe I didn't take. I set out to be a content creator. Because of my age, I ended up being a manager of players. And then from there, I'm like, well, wait a minute, I guess I'm the CEO too.
Yeah.
And then, I took that path. But it was the toughest, although it's beautiful, and I would never trade it for the world. It changed my life for the better, and not only my life, but, my family's life. But it was tough, man, because there's no sick days. There's no I don't want to get up, or I don't want to stay up, or I don't want to do the extra work.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? There's no hours in esports and gaming if you want to make it. It is a 24/7 job that does not sleep. If a player calls me at 11 p.m. at night and says, hey, you need to come and get me out of my girlfriend's house, I'm going to say, I'm on my fucking way.
Yeah.
I'm going to call up Embo's fucking Big Timer and Mike, and we're gonna be like, yo, we gotta go here and we gotta do something. So we get there, stealth mission Bravo. Okay, we get there, everything's quiet. It's 11. It's quiet. The street's dark. There's not, so we look like thieves. So like we're about to kidnap someone, but no, it is a rescue mission, officers.
Yeah.
Okay. And bro, it was wild, bro. Like this is a 24/7 job. And the only way to succeed and make a living off of this is if you give it your goddamn all. There's no failure. The only failure is if you don't give it your all.
Yeah.
And when people say, hey man, you know, blah, 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 like, you know, I can't do something. It's a Saturday and Sunday is like family time. It's like, all right, cool. That's fine. Awesome. Spend it with your family, love your family, you know, family first, all that jazz. But don't expect to be as successful as the guy that says, you know what, I'm going to do this while I'm spending time with my family. I'm going to make it work because I know how to balance shit.
You know, like, what's funny bringing that up because, like, what makes me think of that too, and this isn't necessarily esports related, but I've been listening to the Michael Jackson song, like, all night long or whatever. I forget the exact.
All night long.
No. Hold on. No, not that. That's not.
All night.
Hold on. This is actually important. I'm pulling it up. Rock with you. Rock with you all night. Na, na, na. So the reason why I'm listening to that is because
I don't know that song.
Okay, well, it's literally, if you heard it, you'd know it.
Yeah.
In the last 2 days, this video has gone viral of this guy in like France moonwalking and dancing to the song. And it's an incredible dance and moonwalk, and it just makes you feel good because he crushes it. Everyone in the background's looking at him. It's awesome. Shared by The Rock, shared by LeBron. This guy had like 5,000 followers on Instagram. And now has like 400,000 in 2 days, not even. And like, he can't believe it. It's a French dude. And you see him like reposting all the celebrities posting it. But like, I love that, right? But then what I also love is scrolling through his timeline and seeing like all the videos of him doing that with no recognition and all the photos and the stuff. And like, he's now blown up and will probably be able to make some sort of career off of this even more. If he was already a dancer. But I'm scrolling and seeing all of his other Michael Jackson ones that never caught fire, took that one to really just boom.
Yeah.
And you never know when that's going to happen, you know, with social media and stuff like that. I mean, this guy now has the video of the week. I guarantee you when you watch it later after this, you're gonna like watch it and be like, that made me feel good. And like, you love that stuff. And that's one thing I really have a blast with social media. Like, I know, don't get me wrong, am I addicted? Sure. Am I always checking it? Absolutely. Is it my business? Yes. And like, it's huge of what I do.
But are you being antisocial when you do that? Because I hate when we're at a table and, you know, somebody looks over at another table and everybody's on their phones and like, he's like, oh, wow, look, they're having a good time with their people. Or like they sort of down talk, not enjoying the moment. Yeah. But I'm like, I can multitask. You know what I'm saying? Like when we go to lunch, no one ever says, yo, man, you're checking your phone, spend time with me. And we're spending time. And not only are we spending time, but we, in the history of the human race, we have never been as connected as we are right now to the entire world as it is right now. So when you're taking the 10 seconds or 15 seconds to parallel spend time with you while I'm also simultaneously spending time with, you know, the 50,000 people that are following me on whatever social media outlet and I'm communicating with them or having a conversation, checking Reddit to see like what's happening. Yeah. Like there's this sense of connectivity that people don't fully grasp yet, you know? There is many channels that your brain can interact with. I mean, think about when you're playing a sport, you know, you're subconsciously controlling all of your movements while at the same time processing and analyzing the play, you know, calculating, you know, the trajectory of the ball, and then you're thinking in the future as to how you're going to do that, while at the same time communicating with other people, telling them, you know, go through the back, you pass it to me, you cut here, block this guy. Like, it's the same thing what you're doing, but guess what? You're having a burger, spending time with your boys while doing that. And more often than not, you're checking something and you're like, hey, look, you know, because how often when you're playing, okay, and I'm using quotation marks for those who are watching on iTunes, Google, podcast, SoundCloud, and all these audio, I gotta get a like this. Here's a perfect example. Okay. Jack, give me your spiel. What's your social media outlets?
You can follow me at CouRageJD on all major social medias, including Discord, where we have 5,000 active members. Twitch Prime is a server side. I have it on Twitch, where you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account to receive 14%.
See that I need to do that for the podcast. Like,
you give me your plug.
So you can watch us on YouTube. And
did you see the Nate shot clip from his vlog from Vegas? Did you see what I shared?
He's like,
Jack, go get my camera. On your way back, can you bring my camera? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
The second he said that to me, second he said, "Can you bring my camera?"
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I knew it. When I recorded that on the floor, I was 2 steps outside my hotel room on the way back to yours, and you know that walk.
Yeah.
Because I already knew what I was going to do. I already knew that I was going to plug all my stuff in an instant.
Yeah.
And have a blast with it.
And I'm happy that he left it on because it would have been really easy for.
Edit it.
No, but he's like, I'm sure his editor, like my editor's like, yo, you want me to leave this in here? You know?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely think Nate shot saw that video before it went up. Mm-hmm.
You don't think so? Actually, you know what? I don't look at mine either anymore.
I just, nine times out of 10, I don't. Unless it's a video I'm really looking forward to. But like 9 times out of 10, I lived the content.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
When I start my mornings, I'm like, I get up, I shower, I do this, I do this, I do this. My videos are typically up for when I wake up, but like my videos are 12 to 16 minutes in length. I'm like, I got to get ready to stream and eat and do whatever I need to do, like answer emails. So I'm like, I know Swappa crushed it. Yeah. He's my biggest ally.
Bro, you getting that your ally, as you just call him, your helper, made me get my Maddie, you know, made me be okay to release control of my situation. And Judith had a lot to do with that as well, because she told me, she's like, you're not Casey Neistat. And I said, you said fucking what? I'm kidding. No,
that reminded me of, you weren't on that podcast, damn it. That reminded me of Will when he was like, I said, bitch.
He's like, I'm gonna. What's that? Did it hurt?
That was when she cut into his arm.
Oh, my hat. So how's my hair, Matt?
Never looked better.
Yeah, good. All right, I'm gonna leave it so my hat fell. Anyway, so she's like, you're not Casey Neistat. And I'm like, baby, I know who I am not. You know, no. But anyway, she says like, you're not Casey Neistat. People aren't there to see how good you can edit. And as a creative person, being a graffiti writer for as long as I have, drawing since I was a kid, I wanted creativity control over that. Mm-hmm. You know, so in doing so, I said, you know what, you're right. People want to see my life as opposed to how cool my transition or how cool I edited this sequence, this transitional sequence from the time I went to my office to the time I drove here. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's give it a try. And within the first month, I saw not only an increase in the content output, but also in the freedom that I had to stay up later to vlog, because I remember playing Old Men of Optic matches and seeing 10 o'clock, and I'm like, my body is weak. It's gonna want to sleep soon. Yeah, because I don't have that ability to stay up all night ever. You know, I'm the worst human being between the hours of 1 and 5 a.m. Yeah, like don't rely on me to do anything unless it's an absolute emergency. I feel like it's a drag. I hate life. I just want to sleep. Okay. I would have to be like, all right, 10 o'clock, I got to get off, I got to edit the vlog, or I haven't edited the vlog, or I have to edit the vlog before I go live and stream.
That's the worst feeling.
It's the worst feeling, man. And I remember one time, when was it? I got off my stream and I'm like, holy shit, I just have to upload this. Matt's gonna edit it. And I went downstairs and I was like hanging out with Liv and Jude and the dogs, and I'm like,
this is
worth
nice.
it.
Yeah, 100%.
Worth it.
It's like when I first spoke with like Swappa, for example, I had 60,000 subs on YouTube. I wasn't making really money off of YouTube. And I told him that very upfront. I saw him making memes on Twitter, and I was like, bro, do you want to like get into esports? He was like, 100%. It's like, well, let's try to work together and make that more of a reality. Yeah. And, you know, I tell people all the time, like, if there's ever he's based in EU, but if a company needs a European editor, if Optic were like, we need an EU guy that can edit anything we send him, I'm like, great. He will be he's fantastic. Yeah. And now we've got it to such a well-oiled machine. I'm at the point now where I'm basically probably just going to now give him a pay increase and just have him run everything for my channel, and like make it so that when it comes down to it, like outside of him just saying like, hey, here's what we need. Like we need more videos to stack for when you're gone for TwitchCon or whatever. Outside of that, like I trust his vision for the channel, and like obviously I'll still give input, but my stream takes so much of my energy and thought. This week, for example, has been the most overwhelmed I've felt in regards to what's going on. Yeah. Because we have TwitchCon coming up. I've had some sponsored streams, the launch of COD, the balance of Fortnite and COD. My numbers haven't been as strong as they were when just on Fortnite, which I knew was going to be a thing. But it's been one of those things where I've been thinking about all that. how I can continue to improve. I've been going through the whole processes of certain trademark and legal things and banking and stuff like that. And it's been a huge, like, everything's hitting me at once sort of thing. And like, it felt like crippling for a little bit of time at times. And getting that whole stream refresh out was really nice.
Yeah,
getting
bro, so sick, dude. By the way, congrats.
Super happy with how
that.
It came out.
That girl did an incredible, and she did Maven stuff too.
Oh no, this is completely different.
What do you mean?
So she's great. Spira's great. She did the emotes, but no, my stuff. I would now work with. I'm working with this company called VBI, Visuals by Impulse. They did all of Matt's new stuff, Nate shots.
Yep.
And a week ago,
they're gonna do mine too because that's so good,
dude. And that's what I told them. I was like, listen, this is one of those things where, because we obviously discussed rates with it, and I think this goes back to what you mentioned earlier with like work, like doing work in esports. Like, this is a company that obviously has a lot of skill. I was very open. Like, I'm ready and willing to pay, what the rate is for. But I'd like to also discuss what it means to have a panel under my channel on Twitch and to promote you guys if you do good work. I want this to be a relationship, not a one-time thing.
Yeah.
New holidays, I want new emotes. This. Think of this. For example, they found out I was playing with Post yesterday. Yeah. Without even asking, they made me a Post Malone emote for my chat. Sure, I put it in for that day. Great. CouRage posts a new emote. Thing. They're gonna do a little bit more Halloween-esque stuff to my overlay. Great. That's sick. And now, for example, as you say that with other people want to start streaming, they look at it. They've got a panel now on my channel. People can go and get business from them. And they will, trust me. They crush it. The transition looks awesome. I did a little bit of overhaul.
You know what I need?
What?
I need somebody to come in and set up all of my Elgato stuff, all my Stream Deck shit. I need all that.
You need Power, the guy that I told you to.
I'm gonna fly him out. Do you think where's he from?
100%. He's from Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy.
He's helping. Fwiz built his new PC.
Yeah.
And then Sundance built his whole like media room now.
He helped Sundance build his media room.
Sundance reached out, was like, "Hey, can you connect me with the guy?" So I connected. Of course, I connected him.
Yeah.
And now like Sundance is building a whole new media, like the man cave in his place, and he's leading the. Here's what you need.
This is my man cave.
Oh, it's a good man cave.
So far, so good. I still, it's like I think like I'm at 75% before I'm able to really, say this is finished. Shelving. I'm bringing all the trophies that we've ever had. Don't get me started. We're gonna put them right here. It's gonna be legit, legitimo, okay, legítimo.
Yes,
legítimo.
I don't know.
Legítimo.
I took French.
Yeah, how do you say it in French?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, well, you failed.
Yeah, I barely got by. I'll say that.
Okay, so now on the topic of the way that you monetize, obviously, hiring somebody, do you, for content creators that are listening to this, or for people that are starting to set out, because imagination is the number one thing that I attribute my success to. Okay, imagination and creativity, because if I don't think outside of the box, a lot of problems go unsolved. Mm-hmm. And everybody that works with me can attest to the fact that I'll sit there, I'll know the answer. Okay, Maddie is the perfect example. I'll know the answer, and then I'll be like, why should we do it like this? I already know what the fuck I want to do, but I want him to get to that because I want to train his brain to think the way that I think, so I don't have to tell him what to do. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Imagination is, it's obviously what I help the vets. At what point do you suggest an up and comer or somebody who's in a position to say, you know what? At what point do you say I need help? Okay.
Well, I think a big thing is, first off, no matter what you're doing, wherever stage you're at, you need to make, there's investments you will make, whether it's time investments, monetary investments. You can also look at that as sacrifices. There's always going to be sacrifices and investments having to be made to make this successful, right? You can go up and down the list and name them for yourself. You can see them for yourself and what you've done, whether that's, hey, man, I really want to start streaming console games for Red Dead Redemption coming out. Am I going to really buy this $150 capture card? Well, hey, if you think it's going to be great for your streaming, your stuff, yeah, you will, know. For me, when it comes down to asking for help, there's people that'll do like the whole thumbnails themselves and everything, and they just don't look that great. A thumbnail goes a big way on YouTube, a good thumbnail. Yeah. I've learned that 100%. Like, I think thumbnail is a perfect example of, like, instead of you doing your little crappy little Photoshop things, pay the $5 or whatever it is a thumbnail. Get them made something more professional to help get you that extra kick, give that little bit of flash, you know. In regards to, you know, it's a little bit more of an investment, obviously, for an editor, I think it's safe to say. For me, it's like when you're at the base part, and if I get asked a question in my life, the number one question I get asked is, what tips do you give to new streamers, people trying to start streaming? And I'm considering making just a command for my chat, because when I answer it 10 times an hour, but I give the same thing every time. It's you need to be consistent, you need to be unique, you need to give people a reason to watch, and you need to get lucky. You need to collaborate with others, and you need to get lucky. Like those things are all huge parts of it. You know, it's just like it's like the Powerpuff Girls, their intro, which you never watched, but that was an old Cartoon Network show.
Very familiar, Jack. I have a kid.
I don't think Liv watched Powerpuff Girls, really?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's an older show.
My brother did, though.
But like the way it starts is like this spice and everything nice. Like it's like he's got like a boiling pot, because he like created the girls to like be these superhero girls. So he's like putting the certain things in this pot to like create them. Yeah. That's literally what it takes to like create that hopeful success. And like when it comes down to the serving sizes, whatever doses of each thing, it's like 5% this, 5% that, 5% this, 5% that, 5% of this, 75% luck. Yeah. That's it. That's how it is. A lot of luck. Yeah. It really, really is. There are people that I've seen now, like on Twitch, that I've gone and I will just scroll through the Fortnite views all the way down towards the bottom and just pick someone. I'll pass hundreds of channels and I'll pick one. That's luck, you know? I'll see them with a good look. They got a nice little overlay. They got a webcam. They look friendly, you know. I'll tune in for a second, see what they're doing, make sure they're not too vulgar or anything. And then I rate them. Yeah. Send 5,000 people over. Yeah. You know, and that is like genuine luck. Yeah. And it is, because so it is luck. Let's say for some reason that person didn't stream that day, so the next person was there. Yep. Now, imagine if that person who is streaming for the first time and last time ever didn't stream that night, and the guy that is all about this and would sacrifice everything for an opportunity to get lucky to get that, do that. It is absolute luck, 100%. No, and that's just me being honest. I mean, think about the amount of people that have had platforms to succeed. Think about the amount of people that have not had platforms to succeed and have continuously uploaded every single day, made streams every single day in hopes that one day will get. And they're on like their 5th year of going super ham and only have, you know, 10 to 15 people watching them. You know, 5 of them family members or whatever, or themselves having the chat open. It's crazy. No, dude. It's nuts, man. And I got a lot of respect for those people that do pursue the grind, you know, pursue the dream and stuff that much, like totally. But the thing there is that the majority of these people have to at no point sacrifice their livelihood and sacrifice the livelihood of their family to pursue something just on a whim. Yes, 100%. Like if you're looking to get into this space, and you are looking to get into the space being a content creator specifically, a pro player specifically, you have to keep your day job. Yeah. This is what it takes. It takes you keeping your day job and sacrificing your sleep to be something. It's what I talk about, like when people mention like Call of Duty on YouTube, and like more specifically Scump. Like Seth, for the last couple of years with Call of Duty, when it was at its lowest, was the literal only person in the world that could get away with making a living, like a true, really good living on YouTube, by just uploading COD pubs. Yeah. Because he is literally the best in the world. Yeah. Arguably the best Call of Duty player in just pure stomp ability and just slang. I mean, you saw that 12-piece today. Yeah, arguably the best of all time. And that's not just as a friend. That's not just me as a member of Optic and a teammate. That's just the truth. Yeah. And Seth didn't have any flair in his crazy, like, that's the thing. Like, there was no overlays, nothing. Seth did the opposite of what you should almost be doing. Yeah. But because he is that... He's never seen a microphone like this one in his fucking life. Exactly. And never. Oh my God. Yeah. He is that good. Yeah. That people will watch just to see him go 70-4. Yeah. And pub stomp. Yeah. Now, you might be 5% worse than Seth and want to upload the same things. But what I'm telling you is, like, that's why I tell people, you got to give people a reason to watch. Yeah. They don't just want to see, like, when I see people streaming, and there's a difference for me, right? And it's like, when I see people streaming and they have 0 viewers, I'm like, wow, I have 0 viewers. But then I tune into their stream and they're like, it's just their gameplay.
Yeah.
And like a crappy sounding audio.
Yeah.
And stuff. And then I'll tune into people that have 0 viewers, but they have at least that extra effort put in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's a difference for me. It's like no one's going to really tune in and see you getting 0 kills a Fortnite game unless you are the funniest person in the world. Example, Legion. Legion isn't the best player, but my God, I'll tell you this right now.
Yeah.
You want a good laugh? This is the thing I do. If I need to cheer myself up instantly, Legion's live, I will click in his stream and listen for the first line he says, the first thing he says, and 9 times out of 10, it'll leave you going, what did he just say?
Yeah.
And it's like therapy because you just tune in and you're like, this guy is a crackhead and it's hilarious because of what he says, like some of the shit that he comes up with. And he can do that. Obviously, there's very many of the people that are involved in, let's say, the streamer invitational. Like they're not pro players; they're content creators. They have fun with it, Yep. But they see it. They don't have to be the best.
What do you think about that? Obviously, there's been a lot of criticism with Fortnite and the competition, and people just not getting what that is. And you have pro players. I think it was a Team Secret or some organization that was shit talking the thing, saying, we want to have the best players, not the funniest players.
Oh, back with Fortnite Friday.
Yeah, with the Fortnite Friday. I can't believe that. And
that kid, by the way, Mongrel, who's 13 now, maybe 14. Is literally looked at as arguably the best in the world, like the way he builds and the way, like if you go and watch him now, like the way he was back then was nuts. But I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff recently.
I have not.
You need to go look.
He's nasty.
I've never seen anything like it.
And he's rescuing. Is that what you're saying?
Like if he was able to participate, he would be.
Why can't he participate? Is it too old?
Too young. He's 13, 14.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Think about wubblekins, right? Dr. Wubblekins.
10. He's still 10.
He's still 10 and he's nasty.
Leo.
Right? So Dr. Wubblekins is a 10-year-old phenom that is super good at Fortnite.
Yep.
Who also happens to be the son of Sundance DiGiovanni.
Yeah.
Which is nuts to me because,
Even Connor's insane now.
Is he really?
Dude, he used to like literally not be able to build a ramp.
Is he
keyboard and mouse? We made him. I literally was the one that was like, Connor, I'm telling you, you got to put down the controller and start playing with keyboard and mouse. And he did it. And literally, he's
insane.
He's insane.
Well, look, I'm 38, about to be 39 in a couple of months. I'm not gonna have the same motor skills that the younger people have, but I'm not gonna give them credit. Okay, they have more advantages than I did.
That's true.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's that's one thing that will always fascinate me is those top players, the top Shroud, facing Shroud the other day in that Code Red tournament. And like, I know how good Shroud is. And don't get me wrong, if you watch that stream, I was salty we were losing for 1, and I was giving a ton of props. I was making a lot of stink about how bad the enemies were, which they were very, very bad. Go watch it. They couldn't hit the broadside of a friggin' barn.
Yeah.
But there was one point in my head where I literally went, we were going to lose. And he was fighting 2 people. He had no healing left, and his armor was about to break. And a guy flanked him on top of a roof that he had no idea was going to be there. Like, legitimately 0. It was a completely different player, solo by himself. The guy starts spraying at Shroud's back. He's got like 78 health. And Shroud just does this with a 4x sniper. Swipes right with his mouse. Hits the headshot on the guy. Drops him, saves his life. He then was able to like recover for a second, get another knock, get the kill, run away, heal, went on from if he died at that moment, he would have had 3 total kills. He ended that game with 14 to secure the victory.
Jeez.
And like in that moment, I was like, "Yep,
yeah."
This guy.
You think he's the best in the
in the
world?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not like looking for best blackout players. But I think Shroud absolutely. I mean, Shroud was in his career was always known for being
the best aimer.
His aim was never contested. Yeah. So it's so cool to see him, now obviously embrace Call of Duty with that and see him on Blackout.
So what is it though? Because it has to be luck, right? Luck. But what is it also that allows an ex-professional player, CS:GO professional player like Shroud, be a personality that has 60,000 people watching him at one point, and then you have other retirees in the same sort of situation, sometimes better because. Had you put Shroud in a European team from the beginning, I think that it would have been a better. You know what I'm saying? Because you're as good as your environment.
It's tough to say because obviously Shroud is Shroud, but I think he had a very public exit when he announced he was leaving.
Yeah.
He had like 3,000 subs or whatever.
Yeah.
People were wanting him to go full time into it, especially because he was leaving at like the peak of PUBG when it was really starting to kick.
Yeah.
And at that point, he was like the face of that, you know, and everyone knew him for that, for PUBG. You know, I think he fits a super awesome part on Twitch, which is like, we have Ninja as the face of Twitch, right?
Yeah.
He's got a very energetic, laughing, you know, crazy type stream.
Yeah.
Then you've got Shroud, who is the polar opposite. And I think he just fits. He's got his whole community there.
Yeah.
It's like, that's for people that just want that more laid back.
Yeah.
They just want to watch a guy who snap and think nothing of it. Like, you will rarely see Shroud after one of those crazy clips do anything other than like
yeah.
Me?
Oh yeah.
If I hit one of those,
I
bro,
saw it.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
I dance. I literally start dancing.
Yeah. You know, when you bring stuff up like that and luck and you know, hard work and dedication, think about, everybody always talks about the story of Ninja, how he took, you know, how many years of streaming constantly. Nobody, almost nobody talks about the Dr. Disrespect story, right? Because Dr. Disrespect has been Dr. Disrespect since 2010.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's going to be in the podcast sometime soon, but and we'll explore that. But just to give you a small glimpse of that storyline, you know, D-Treats finds this dude who's tucked in a bed, and I mean tucked like tucked in a bed, and he's telling a bedtime story with a candlelight and ominous music in the background, and then he's like destroying with a shotgun in Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Right. And then he shows me, yo, this guy's the funniest thing. And I look at him, I'm laughing, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, the whole thing happens, but then he quits. He quits doing, he retires Dr. Disrespect for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's not even talk about Alexander Rodrigo, okay, or Randy. You know, these are all Dr. Disrespect creations, right? Guy Beam creations. For those of you who don't know, Guy Beam is the person behind Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
But Guy Beam has Dr. Disrespect, and then has Alexander Rodrigo, who's fucking is I don't know. I don't even know if that character would work in this day and age because of how offended people get.
I think the Doc's had to go through some iterations himself in regards to how he used to act like H1.
Yeah.
Mike and stuff like that. Like, there's like of older clips and tones. I mean, he's talked about how his from like the H3 podcast, I remember like how the Doc first started was a dark, slow talking.
Yeah.
I'm the best.
Yeah.
And how like that just wouldn't work for stream because he could do it for YouTube.
Yeah.
Like streaming, that's just like, imagine all time. So like he knew he would have to change it up.
Yeah.
And he talks about that for sure. There's one famous video I remember seeing of the Doc where it's like how I get ready to be Doc or whatever. And I told my dad about it, and it, like, it's him in the mirror. And it's him how he puts on his whole outfit. And like, I think the final moment is like when he puts on his Google prototype glasses, as he says, but he's talking normally like Guy would. And then like he like looks down and he's got like everything on except the glasses. And he like, if I'm not mistaken, he puts the glasses on. And he's talking his normal voice, and he's like talking. And as he puts the glasses on, he goes, and now it's like mid-sentence switches to his Doc voice. And I remember seeing it being like,
yeah.
Whoa.
You know, when he made that video, he hit me up and he's like, I'm really nervous about releasing this video because it might ruin the Dr. Disrespect thing. Yeah. That video that you're talking about is him trying out to be a Machinima Premiere director. Mm-hmm. And it was a competition. And it was voted. Yeah. And we tried our best to get him. Yeah. You know, we put all of our eyeballs of Optic eyeballs to help him do that because, you know, he was a friend, but two, I personally and D-Treats believed in this character and how funny he was. Anyway, that's a story for another time. Jack, thank you, man. I do appreciate you stopping by. We could do this for another hour, I think.
Oh, 100%. We could do this the whole damn day.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Vegas. We didn't talk about any of the good old things. I don't even remember what we were going to talk about, man.
Dude, listen, man, it's been crazy, you know, all this stuff, but I have a blast with it. I could talk about this. There's one thing I like, it's talking. And two, it's talking with good people. I mean, when we went and had dinner with Maven the other day. Yeah. That's literally what.
Tell them we were at Olive Garden.
Olive Garden, baby. We got that soup. Salad.
Soup a Toscana.
Yeah, I was having chicken parm.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Those breadsticks. I was doing that. I almost did the Doc dance right there.
Yeah. Tell me that's not, I mean, people hate on the same way that I hate on non-real Mexican food chains. Italians have the same feeling towards that. Sure. I remember telling Sundance, I'm like, yeah, man, love Zuppa Toscana. He's like, what the?
I told my mom, and she was like, you went to Olive Garden?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, like disgusting.
She's actually going to Italy today.
Oh,
and she's like, you went to Olive Garden? Like, what the hell?
That ain't no problem.
That ain't a problem.
That ain't no problem.
And at the end of the day, it's better than when the bill comes like $11 for your whole meal. You're like,
yeah, unlimited breadsticks, man.
I'm good.
I can get full on breadsticks, and today, Jack, for dinner, I'm gonna have Zuppa Toscana and breadsticks. I swear to God,
I'm gonna have meal prep meals and be live.
What time do you go live?
I'm good. I'm big chilling, but I'll probably see. So we have to finish our Doritos Bowl practice, but I'm really fiending to play Fortnite. So
tell me about, before you get off, tell me about TwitchCon and what they can expect. This video goes live on Monday, the Monday before TwitchCon, I think. When is TwitchCon? Next weekend?
I'll be at TwitchCon right now next week. I'll have it announced anyway in the next couple days, but I'll have a meet and greet Friday morning. I'll be casting Friday for Fortnite. Saturday, I'll be playing the Doritos Bowl.
Yep.
Sunday morning after the Twitch party, which is the craziest part, the stream invitational I think is at 10 a.m.
After the Twitch party.
So Twitch party Saturday night. Sunday morning, I think they want everyone there at 8:30 a.m. So I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be Pedialighted up. I'm gonna be bacon, egg, and cheese.
So you're hopeful for it. You're looking at it through a positive lens.
I need to be hopeful.
So
because
now
I'm casting Sunday too.
Okay, so you're competing and casting on Sunday?
So Stream Invitationals before the finals on Sunday.
And you participate in that?
Yes, I'm playing in the Stream Invitational and casting the finals with me and
someone else
partner.
Okay, but what you're saying is that you're not going to be in the finals?
I'm not playing in the duos thing, no.
Okay.
No,
so
it's
that's
not the same competition.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
So Stream Invitational is 50 streamers have been invited and 50 random TwitchCon people who are there are playing. So we'll get like match with a fan almost.
Yeah.
And then there's $750,000 on the line for that week for those 3 games we play across them. And yeah, I'm super hyped. It's my first ever TwitchCon. You know, a moment set in for me because I still don't view myself as one of the bigger streamers in regards to it. Just hasn't set in, I guess. Like, yes, I am now up there for sure. But like when I went to the PAX event, I was talking with some Twitch staff, and they were like, "Dude, you're going to your first TwitchCon, and you're going as like one of the bigger deals of people on Twitch. Like, there's obviously all the huge names are going to be there, but you're going as one of the big name deals on Twitch. And to go to that, it's going to be crazy." What happened?
No, he hears the humming.
Oh,
there's a new humming in the sound. It's a good thing that we're ending it. Are you gonna vlog this thing? Why don't you vlog, man? I think a lot of people would appreciate, and especially right now that you're rethinking the way that you do your YouTube stuff.
No, I think a vlog definitely can and should be done. You know, it's tough because streamers.
I mean, you saw me do it while we were out there, man. I was just this easy.
I think the thing with streamers, for example, is like
that ain't no problem.
It's not like being with a group of vloggers where everyone's used to being vlogged.
Yeah,
like streamers know. Like when I'm a streamer, I know when I'm on and when I'm off. And I know YouTubers know that too, but I feel like for streamers, you're like, you know, that on and off is literally only in one place at your setup. So when you're in when you're like behind the scenes or waiting for something or just sitting there, it's like you can tell who does YouTube plus streams or who just streams. And for me, maybe I'm getting more comfortable now, but I've never wanted to be the guy that's like being annoying. I don't think I'm annoying, but you know what I'm saying.
I do.
I know what I'm saying.
Trust me, man. I've been putting cameras in front of kids since.
Yeah.
And I mean high schoolers and college kids, okay, not literal kids, since 2010, man.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're around me, you know that if a camera comes out, it doesn't take long, man. Do it for the vlog, man, as they like to say, man.
There's so many Optic moments with that. I think one of the ones that stands out is look into the camera. You know, like all that with Bose.
Yeah, but there's a video out there where I'm telling Matt, look into the camera, stand up, sit up straight.
Yeah.
It was
jeez, Matt really is your son, man. It's crazy. And you're better than McGolf.
And I'm better than him in Call of Duty. He and I had the same score, the Code Red.
Let's go, man.
And he's never beaten me on land. While I have beaten him on land at the Ego Virginia Beach land.
Wow, that's crazy. Even remember that.
Yeah,
well, actually,
I should have brought it up in the podcast. Anyway, Jack, thank you so much for stopping by. Go to your stream. I appreciate you, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. All of Jack's information is
at CouRageJD on all major social medias, including Discord. We have over 5,000 active members.
Okay. And for us, we are syndicated, obviously, on iTunes, Google Podcast, SoundCloud, soon to be all the rest of them, if I can figure out how to do that. But in the meantime, if you guys would, please leave a subscription here on YouTube, or if you're listening on internet, leave a rating. It helps a lot. We got to the #1 spot last week on a gaming podcast, which is nasty, dude.
That's dope.
Killed it, murdered it. Sent it to the grave. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. We'll see you later. Peace.